So supermodels were, it was a phrase coined in the 90s for these models making a tremendous amount of money modeling fashion. These are three shots of Linda Evangelista. She was a gigantic model in the 1990s, just huge, seen everywhere, very chameleon-like and just styled for whatever shoot was going on. She famously said, "I don't get out of bed for less than $10,000 a day," which really epitomizes 1990s supermodels. Naomi Campbell, another supermodel who was notoriously fiery personality, ruling the roost. Here are two more shots of Naomi. We loved seeing her everywhere. We still do. Christy Turling, Christy Turlington, another supermodel who actually had a mannequin designed after her face, yeah, and body at the Met. We used to exhibit it regularly. And then another notorious party girl along with Naomi Campbell, Kate Moss. Um, yeah, waif-like, small, and she's really going to give the name to the heroin chic look that we'll look at. My particular favorite is Shalom Harlow. I just love how she looks. Another big supermodel. I'm not going to give you every single supermodel that was out there, but here are a couple seen in branding. Branding is going to be huge in the 1990s. Dapper Dan will be all over that in the 80s and then get put out of business. We'll talk about that. But you see it branding, branding, branding on everything. Now we're going to talk about urban wear. In the 80s, we saw a lot of hip hop artists and break dancers on the street wearing athletic wear, but urban wear starts as a phenomenon back, in the late 70s, and Pele Pele is one of the first brands out there. They were creating leather goods and introduced these, gigantic baggy pants, the oversized look of urban wear. So FUBU, or For Us, By Us, was founded by Damon Johns in 1992, and it was a hugely popular brand and seen everywhere on the street and emblazoned with its own logo. And I mean, now we have that designation of athleisure, but we've seen this already in the 80s, that, baseball jackets and, track pants, etc., that sort of feed into this trend. A really curious phenomenon to me in the 90s was this embrace of Tommy Hilfiger by the African American community, because I always thought of him as being real waspy, kind of prep school, preppy look. I mean, look at the picture of him with Destiny's Child. He's in his khakis with his loafers and his blue button-down shirt and his blazer. But his red, white, and blue logo became just, standard urban wear in the 90s. Russell Simmons, who was the big music mogul of hip hop, launches Fat Farm in 1992. You see his wife there modeling a Fat Farm look on the left, Kimora Lee Simmons, and she is wearing, interestingly enough, a polo shirt that is styled exactly after English, private school rugby gear. So again, a throwback to that sort of English aristocracy, but oversized. And then on the right, you see a Fat Farm Argyle sweater. Again, this is a very preppy, classically preppy textile pattern. So Russell Simmons' wife, Kimora Lee Simmons, you're seeing here on the right, launches Baby Fat also in the 90s, a spin-off of Fat Farm. And you can see the signature logo of the little cat. And have I mentioned how important logos are to urban wear. They're huge. And on the left, Sean John, who, AKA Sean Combs, P. Diddy, launches his major manufacturing line as well. In 1999, Jay-Z and Damon Dash introduced Rockaware. So a lot of these hip hop companies later in the decade were created by famous rap artists, or people associated with the music industry, but Rockaware was a large one. So I'm just giving you a sampling of just a few urban wear companies. So here are a couple of shots of women in urban wear, because we've been seeing a lot of men wearing this style, but here's the music group TLC, and they're wearing the oversized pants with, oh yes, that sheer net top, and Gwen Stefani on the right, who will launch her own line, Lamb, in 2003. So here we have Will Smith in his role for the TV comedy The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and obviously tying into the urban ethos. I would be remiss to not show you a slide from Clueless, the movie Clueless, on the left with Alicia Silverstone, because I loved it so much. So she's a prep school, she's doing this high-end prep school shopping experience and clothing portrayal of the 90s. And another style icon from the 90s, Miss Britney Spears. Last but not least, for setting a hair standard in the 90s, it was Jennifer Aniston, the star of Friends, the sitcom Friends. And this is just, her hair became famous, and this style became famous in the 90s across the board, across multiple ethnicities.